Like paradise. Families walk by the seawall, joggers race past the waves, and the skyline sparkles against the horizon. At first glance, it feels like nothing could disturb such beauty. Ranked among the best cities in the world to live in, Vancouver represents freedom, progress, and the good life many people dream of. But like every paradise, there's another side, one you rarely see in travel magazines. Today, we're going to walk into that side of the city. And what you'll discover will stay with you forever. Welcome to Horus TV. In today's journey, we're not just exploring a city, we're peeling back its hidden layers. Vancouver is often called the freest city in the world. But freedom here takes many forms, some of them terrifying. Just a few blocks from its shining towers lies a place where drugs are as common as food, where lives unravel on the sidewalk, and where one of the most dangerous substances on earth controls thousands of people. This isn't just about addiction, it's about a social experiment, about policies unlike anything you'll see in the United States, and about human beings caught in a storm they can't escape. At the heart of this crisis is a drug called fentanyl. You may have heard the name before, but seeing its effects face to face is another story. Imagine a substance so cheap, so easy to find, and so deadly that it can twist your body, bend your back, and take your life in a single dose. Add to that another chemical called xylazine, nicknamed Tranq. When mixed with fentanyl, it doesn't just sedate, it destroys. It eats away at skin, deadens awareness, and slowly kills from the inside out. These aren't abstract descriptions. On the streets of Vancouver, you can see the evidence written on people's bodies as they stumble, bend, and collapse before your eyes. Downtown Eastside, this is the neighborhood many residents avoid, the place parents warn their kids not to walk through. But it's also home to more than 10,000 people. Every block tells a story of survival, loss, and addiction. On one side of the street, you'll see someone injecting a syringe into their arm. On the other, a dealer known simply as $5 hands out drugs at prices anyone can afford. Here, transactions happen openly, almost like buying a cup of coffee. The strangest part? Police cars pass by without stopping. In a city ranked among the safest and most livable, the most dangerous trade continues in plain sight. Part of the reason this scene looks so surreal is government policy. In Canada, certain cities provide what's known as safe supply. Imagine walking into a facility where you can legally inject heroin or fentanyl under medical supervision. Staff hand out clean needles, measure doses, and watch as people use. The goal is not to encourage addiction but to prevent death. Authorities argue that people won't just stop using drugs because you tell them to. So instead of losing lives to overdoses on the street, they try to manage it, control it, and reduce the risks. It's controversial, but for many here, it's the only option left. Not everyone agrees. Some say these programs save lives and keep hospitals from overflowing. Others argue they trap people in cycles of dependence and normalize something that destroys communities. Standing in front of these centers, you can see both sides. A man walks in slowly, eyes hollow, hands shaking. Minutes later he comes out calmer, steady enough to move on. But look closely, his body is already paying the price. The sores on his arms, the slowness of his steps, the fog in his mind. Safe or not, the drug is still consuming him. And it's not just one person, it's thousands, right here in this city. Compare this to the United States, where policies are stricter. There, the only legal programs focus on harm reduction, things like clean needle exchanges or medications that help manage withdrawal. Safe supply centers like the ones in Vancouver don't exist in American cities. Yet the crisis still spreads across borders. Fentanyl has already taken over streets from San Francisco to Philadelphia. In Canada, the debate is whether open, government-managed programs can prevent a collapse like the one the US is facing. But as you walk these streets, it's hard to see signs of real progress. Shops have shut down, small businesses board their windows, and owners say they can't survive constant break-ins. One store owner told us that every morning feels like a gamble. Will the locks be broken again? Will the front glass be smashed? Cameras hang from every corner, security gates roll down, but nothing seems enough. Just steps away, addicts desperate for their next fix are willing to risk anything. It's not just theft, it's survival. The moment a store door opens, groups rush in, not for luxury goods, but for anything they can trade for money. This is what happens when an entire street becomes an open-air drug market. Life for business owners becomes impossible, and many simply leave. And yet, only blocks away, the city feels completely different. People sip coffee at waterfront cafes, tourists snap photos by the ocean, and children play in parks. Vancouver is a city of extremes. You can live in one of the most expensive apartments in Canada and still be minutes away from the most desperate poverty. Rent here is among the highest in the country, but in the Downtown Eastside, you'll find places where prices are lower, though no amount of savings makes up for the environment. For many residents, the choice is clear. They'd rather struggle with higher rent elsewhere than live near the constant sight of suffering and chaos. The source of the crisis doesn't begin in Canada. Many of the ingredients used to make fentanyl and xylazine come from China. From there, shipments move to Mexico, where cartels process them in hidden labs. The raw powder is then smuggled across borders, eventually landing on streets from Los Angeles to Vancouver. But here's where Canada stands apart. While some of the drugs arrive illegally, others are distributed legally under medical programs. That means on the very same street, you can find both underground dealers mixing fentanyl in back rooms and government clinics handing out controlled doses. It's a strange, conflicting picture of control and chaos. The impact on the human body is devastating. One man we spoke to told us that fentanyl hooked him in a single dose. "I thought I could handle it," he said, "but it grabbed me and never let go." The high is short but intense, and when it fades, the craving returns instantly. People who once had jobs, families, and futures now spend every waking moment searching for the next hit. The drug bends their posture, weakens their muscles, and clouds their minds. Some no longer notice when their bodies are breaking down. Others don't live long enough to notice at all. Walking these streets, the smell of chemicals hangs in the air so strong it burns your nose. It's a reminder that addiction here isn't hidden, it's everywhere. Needles litter sidewalks, tents line the corners, and paramedics rush past almost daily. Overdoses happen so frequently that ambulances often can't keep up. For the people trapped in this cycle, help rarely comes in time. And when it does, the revival only lasts until the next dose. This is why Vancouver's approach remains so debated. Is it better to save lives today even if the addiction continues tomorrow? Or does that only delay the inevitable? Still, behind every addict is a story. Some were prescribed opioids for pain and slipped into dependence. Others lost jobs, homes, or families and turned to drugs for escape. Many here once had normal lives, and you can still see the echoes of who they were. A woman humming a song to herself as she waits for her turn inside the clinic. A man holding a photo of his daughter tucked into his wallet. These small glimpses remind us that addiction is not just about choices, it's about circumstances, despair, and a system that often fails to catch people when they fall. As we move deeper into this neighborhood, the contrast becomes even more striking. Towering glass buildings shine in the distance, symbols of progress and wealth. Yet only minutes away, sidewalks look like scenes from a war zone. This dual reality defines Vancouver: beauty and destruction, hope and despair, freedom and chains. It forces us to ask hard questions. What does it mean to be a world-class city if thousands of its residents live like this? Can policies built on compassion solve a crisis born from chemicals stronger than anything humans have ever faced? For now, the crisis continues. Businesses close, communities break apart, and lives end every day. Yet the city also fights back, through outreach workers, doctors, volunteers, and organizations trying to pull people back from the edge. It's a battle waged block by block, syringe by syringe, life by life. Some find their way out, entering recovery and slowly rebuilding. Others remain trapped, waiting for help that never seems to come. And in between, the debate rages: are safe supply programs the solution, or just another layer in a tragedy that feels endless? In the end, Vancouver stands as both a warning and a lesson. A warning of what happens when powerful drugs sweep through a society, and a lesson in the struggle to balance compassion with control. Walking away from these streets, it's impossible not to feel the weight of what we've seen. This city, so often celebrated for its beauty, hides a reality that's raw, painful, and unforgettable. Maybe that's the truest picture of freedom, a place where the best and worst of humanity stand side by side, daring us to look closer and decide what kind of future we want to build.